these are all the sound bites that I wanted to go over. Overall, the book isn't as bad as I thought it was when I listened to the book summary. It's still pretty bad. And I would be asking some questions of myself and a chick if you were getting involved with them on a long-term basis. You definitely want to make sure that they're not going to complicate your life, because the general underlying theme of this book, by the way, guys, is let's teach women to behave like men, because we think men would be attracted to that, and go do that, and that'll land you the guy of your dream, basically, is what the book is for. It's written for women. The interesting thing when I was doing some research today on it is I came across a bunch of videos on YouTube where they were reviewing the book, and it's your typical cast of, well into their life, 30s and 40s, don't have a guy in their life, but they're praising something. And they use a lot of terms like boss girl or boss bitches, when they're talking about it. I didn't want to bore you guys with playing all those clips because it's the standard stuff that you've heard over and over again, but they get really excited. Boss girl, boss bitch, we're the best, sort of thing. So there was a lot of that praising the book. Overall, again, it's not as bad as I thought it was. It's still pretty bad, but there's some key points here that I'm going to share with you tonight just to kind of give you a little more insight on what this is all about, because it's a huge seller. It's been out since 2000, so 30 years now. She wrote a couple of follow-ups. It's been translated into a ton of different languages from what I can see. It's been well reviewed around the world and well received, in fact, and endorsed by a female first primary social order. So it's out there. You should be aware of it. I remember dating a girl around 2000, in the 2000s somewhere, that talked about this book and had it on her counter, but I just dismissed it. I was like, yeah, whatever. It's a book for girls. It's probably like chick crack sort of thing. So I just kind of like, whatever. So now I'm seeing why she was the way that she was and why she was such a bee. But anyway, one of the main sound bites I dropped at the top here was men control the world, but women control men. This is what the author put in the book somewhere in it. I'm not sure which chapter or in what topic, but men don't control the world anymore. In fact, women control the world, and women still control a lot of men, with the exception of guys that have adopted the mindset of mental point of origin, putting themselves first so that they can go and chase excellence, not women. But again, this is a narrative that was put out there in 2000. A lot of this, not a lot, a good chunk of it, if I'm being honest, echoes a lot of what the red pill says. So I made some notes here down at the bottom. So I'll go through two of them real quick before I start everything. Less is more, which is essentially what we call the soft next. So it says here, expressing your feelings when you feel taken for granted never works. Men are very skilled at tuning women out when they nag. When you feel like you've been taken for granted, the best thing to do is to back away. If you want to be respected in a relationship, show them what they could lose. Men are used to dealing with emotional women like their mothers or sisters who forgive them even if they yell at them for taking them for granted. So this is the highlighted point here. You have to let him know that this won't be the case with you and give him the cold shoulder. It's not written as a soft next or how we portray the soft next, but it's essentially the same concept. Another one here is a bee moves to the rhythm of her own drum. And I just put in brackets over here, mental point of origin. When dating someone new, it often can be exciting, fun to hang out with them, but having your own interests in life is important. That's why you need to make it abundantly clear to them through your actions, not just words. Actions, right? Actions always trump words. Right there in her book as well, that you'll have life with goals and ambition outside of dating them, but letting them know that you have goals and ambitions that you're working on and only have time to hang out with them when you're free makes your time appear more precious and stops you from depending on them to give you fulfillment. And we all know how quick, and we all know a quick way to be taken off a pedestal is to become dependent on somebody else for fulfillment. I'll read that again. And we know a quick way to be taken off a pedestal. So the underlying notion of this book is put yourself up on a pedestal. Basically, the title of this book, if a guy were to read it from his perspective, would be Why Plugged In Men Love Bees. Okay? Because plugged in men believe in putting women on a pedestal, believe on making themselves less so she can become more. That's the plugged in mindset. I've had it. I know a lot of you guys have had it. And it's why a lot of these concepts are so powerful to men when they fully understand them. Rollo says that nothing is more threatening and attractive to women than a guy that knows his own worth, right? So it's to become dependent on somebody else for fulfillment. This obviously does take a lot of self-control, and at the end of the day, you won't ever be putting yourself first. So this is the concept of mental point of origin. So a lot of concepts that I've talked about in the past that I distilled in my book are actually in this book from 2000 by Sherry, whatever her last name is. Let's go to the first point here. Why men love bees. And it's broken down by key ideas. Apparently, the entire book is broken down by key ideas. So why men love bees. Idea number 3, men love the chase, so make them run. To briefly put, nearly everything we've been taught about men is a lie. For what sounds a lot like unplugging, doesn't it? For what do they truly yearn? Well, strangely enough, they want us to make things difficult for them. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm busy chasing excellence, putting a dent in the universe, making bank, doing cool shit, becoming more significant, all that sort of stuff, I don't want to deal with a woman that's going to make my life difficult. You want a woman, guys in general. Now, when I'm addressing this, I'm talking about top shelf men, guys that I just described. Okay. They don't have time for women that make things difficult for them. We want a woman to make our life. Basically, we want you to make our life easy and our D hard. That's it. It's not that complicated. Not the other way around. Okay. You make our life hard. We're not going to be happy with that. Plugged in guys might be okay with that. Beta males might be okay with that. But at the end of the day, women don't pine for those men over a long-term basis. So in my view, this key idea that's mentioned here about men loving the chase, so make them run, and starting that point with make things difficult for him. And then she goes on to explain how guys love the chase and they'll go out hunting with their buddies, uncomfortable sleeping arrangements, bad weather, crappy food, only to shoot a buck and stick its head on the wall because they like the chase, blah, blah, blah. And she closes with, you can use this male tendency to your advantage every time your partner wants to meet you. Even if you're free all week, why not pretend you're booked out? More free time for you. He'll be kept on his toes. Women who understand this have a remarkably easy time in their relationships. Try it for yourself. Okay. Yes, guys don't want a woman to... Okay, let me rephrase that. Guys don't want a chick on him all the time. No doubt about that. But at the same time, we don't want women to make our lives difficult. We want our lives to be easy. We want you to complement our lives, not become the focus of it or make it hard. So there's a little bit of conflicting information in there. Another key idea from this book is self-sufficient women will attract the right partners. I'm all for it. Look, go become self-sufficient. You want to climb the corporate ladder, put off childbearing years, get promoted, move from business to business, do all that stuff if that makes you happy. Get degrees, print up the pieces of paper, frame it in mahogany with little letters after your name, and put it up on the wall. There's a really, really funny thread called The Lawyer's Coloring Book. And I think I'll cover it next Monday because I got Andrew Esquire joining me next Monday talking about dating professional women. He's a lawyer. And we're going to talk about, dating women like lawyers and, the like around that. So I'll save that for next week. I'll surprise you guys with that Lawyer's Coloring Book because it's really funny, but you'll get the idea. But self-sufficient women are fine. Okay. We don't want a mooch. Okay. But at the same time, she goes on to close this with a story about how consider the story of a young consultant working in Manhattan. She had recently met a charming, handsome, and high-flying lawyer who, after a few dates, invited her to join him on a luxurious cruise. She declined. The reason was she'd already been planning to host a Tupperware party that week, and there was no way she was postponing it. He was stunned, and after just one day on the cruise, he returned to New York to attend her Tupperware party. So high-flying lawyer invites her into his life to join him on a luxurious cruise. She declines because of a Tupperware party. He goes on the cruise for one day, leaves it early, returns to New York to attend her Tupperware party. You can see where this is going. By putting her plans first, she surprised the lawyer and showed him what kind of woman she was. a boss girl, hashtag boss girl, right? He couldn't help but fall for her and was happy to spend an evening with her and her girlfriends debating the best way to freeze chicken soup. I can't even make this shit up. Okay. Like, dude leaves a luxurious cruise, probably stacked with gorgeous women, to go to this boss girl's Tupperware party and talk about freezing chicken soup. And I talk about the process of betatization through 1,000 concessions in a few different points in my book. This exemplifies it before they probably even had any kind of intimate interaction together. He's already betatizing himself by not putting himself first. I mean, if she didn't want to come on the cruise, dude, just invite another girl, or go to the cruise by yourself with your boys. There's going to be women on the cruise. But leaving all of that behind to go and enter her frame while she, denies entry to your world, it just doesn't make any sense. And again, this key point's an important one in the book, because she's encouraging women to basically behave like men. And you can't have this shit on the sexual marketplace. You can't have identities that are exactly the same colliding with each other over and over again. A man and a woman need to be a complement to one another. And the way the book is structured is it structures women to basically behave like bad men, bad versions of men anyway. So there's that one. How are we doing for time? 15 minutes in. Good. All right. Why men love bitches. Number 5. Keep a relationship fresh by making your man wait. So in this one, she goes on to talk about, there's a number of simple strategies you can get out. In fact, living your life on your own, many hours you dedicate to your partner, reflect on it, blah, blah, blah. And she closes at the end of it. Making him wait will excite his imagination. The physical intimacy you share will be all the more special when the moment arrives. Now, keep in mind, this book was written 30 years ago. As a rule of thumb, you can make your partner wait at least a month. A freaking month? Not in today's world. Maybe 30 years, maybe 50, 60 years ago, that might have been relatively normal. Today, it's not. You make a dude wait a month today, he's got way more other options going on, especially, if he's a top shelf guy, but he's got way more other options going on that he's going to entertain. And you're not going to be a priority. You're just going to become an option, if that at all. He might wait a month while he's spinning some other plates while his friends with benefits come over, if you're a unicorn or something closely resembling a unicorn. But why? I mean, let's say you date, I don't know, in the course of a month, you got 4 weeks, maybe 4 to 8 times. I don't know, depending on what your schedule looks like. Guys today are not waiting 4 to 8 dates for intimacy. Women today don't even wait that long, maybe a few dates. So, the making him wait narrative, I don't know. I mean, you can't have, like one version of like toxic feminism and then go back to like the 1950s. Like, you can't pick and choose from the a la carte menu of, the sexual marketplace as a woman that's inconsistent. It's either you're a traditional conservative or you're not. Okay. Are you a traditional conservative? You came from an Amish village and you're a virgin at 25, 30, right? And you're making them wait for a month because your plan is to get married and have children, all that sort of stuff. Okay. Fine. Maybe we can have that conversation. But you can't be a modern woman climbing the corporate day ladder, with your big ass notch count, riding the carousel in your 20s, partying it up, going from dude to dude. And then all of a sudden you're going to make this guy wait a month. Too many conflicting pieces in this, right? There's got to be more consistency. Either teach the TradCon lesson, or let's align things with the modern sexual marketplace. This is too much of both. Number 7, let your man feel like he's calling the shots. Okay, this one's interesting. I'm going to catch up with your super chats in a minute, guys. Just stand by. Give me a bit here. Number 7 says, let your man feel like he's calling the shots. You can still run things behind the scenes. So this is a highly manipulative tactic. Okay. Let's look at the story of an LA couple for guidance. Both husband and wife were working full-time jobs, but she did nearly all of the household chores. He only helped out occasionally. Okay, how much money did he make versus how much money did she make? How many hours did he work versus how many hours did she work? Because generally speaking, Men travel more, meaning they commute more to go to work. They work longer hours, and they generally earn more. So we're leaving something out of the picture here. But anyway, she's the victim. She's doing all the household chores. He only helped out occasionally, of course. The woman was irritated. She had better things to do than the laundry, but instead of getting critical, she praised him whenever he offered a helping hand. She expressed how happy she was that even after a draining day at work, he still did his part. Slowly, her husband began to do more chores until the workload was balanced. These days, she never even had to ask him to help out. That's because her husband began stress. So chore play, if you don't know what that is, read my book. That's because her husband began striving to live up to his wife's expectations of him. Just goes to show you how effective praise is. Now, the bolded part here is what I want to hit on. You can also use the nudging approach when facing big decisions. The trick here is to make him feel like the idea was his in the first place. He'll feel like he's in control while you're calling the shots behind the scenes. You can do this by outlining 3 options you're happy with, such as summer vacation destinations. Hey, honey, let's go to Spain, France, or Italy. She's happy with any of those, but she's letting him decide. Tell him how you love how he always makes great choices. He'll feel great, so will you. The goal of any good relationship. Bullshit. Okay. She's not going to feel great about that because she's basically running the show. Women don't want to lead. They want to be led. They want to be with a giant that can call shots and make decisions, and she'll happily toe the line with those things if she's in his frame. But this book is talking about the notion of essentially manipulating him into becoming a better beta. I mean, a lot of the notions in the book are really about make him a better beta, like building the better beta. Build a better beta book is really what it should be subtitled or translated into. Anyway, guys, we're almost done here. I'm going to grab the invite link. And if you want to hop on the show, hop in and ask a question live, you can click this link. Make sure you have a good internet connection and have headphones in just so the audio is good. They usually have microphones somewhere in them. So there's a link, guys. And in the private chat, when you come in the green room area, just let me know what it is you want to talk about so I can sort through them and prioritize them. And here's a few other short sound bites. Men don't respond to words. What they respond to is no contact. Ties into the soft next. Success in love isn't about looks. It's about attitude. If you're a woman, it's about looks. Women are beauty objects to men. Men are success objects to women. You can take your attitude and stuff it because any top shelf guy is not going to take any attitude from any boss girl crap. It's about looks. Maintain looks. Maintain the aesthetics of beauty, fertility, health cues. All that stuff is what matters. You can take your attitude and stuff it. Top shelf guys are not interested in that. The only guys that women are going to get using attitude are going to be basically guys that aren't going to turn her on over the long-term basis. He might be, good enough, might have, genetic potential for, genes, for dad sort of thing, but she's not going to pine for this guy. She's not going to have enthusiastic monkey sex with him. Unlikely. Agree with everything, explain nothing, then do what's best for you. How is that good for a long-term relationship between two people? When she's supposed to be a compliment to his life and they're supposed to be building something together, or if they're having a family, they want to have kids. Overall, guys, I'm going to tell you this. If you see this book on a woman's bookshelf, you better give it some time to vet her properly to make sure that she's not been brainwashed by this crap. Agree with everything, explain nothing, then do what's best for you. Hey, look, you want to sign up for that? Have fun with it. Have fun with it. Make sure you get your horse plow set up so you can plow the fields for her, because you will end up becoming her plow horse. If you tell him you're not interested in jumping into a relationship with both feet, he will set out to try to change your mind. No, he won't. Not guys that I talk to, they won't. They're not going to chase you, dude. They're not going to chase you, ladies. They're not. They got other things going on in their lives. Like top shelf. See, The swiping habits of men and women have been analyzed off of dating apps, and women that would be rated somewhere between a 3 and a 10 only swipe right on men that are rated 8 to 10. So what that means is there are way more women in the sexual marketplace interested in those top shelf men. Do you think for a minute, ladies, that he is going to run around chasing you, trying to change his mind because you say something silly like, I'm not interested in jumping into a relationship with both feet? You're going to become a friends with benefit, or you're going to become a plate. I mean, the concept of the book is better relationships or finding a husband. You ain't going to find it acting like that. He must feel that you choose to be with him, not that you need to be with him. Only then will he perceive you as an equal partner. Okay, I'm going to set aside only then will he perceive you as an equal partner for just a moment. The first part's correct. Okay, you want to choose women that choose you, guys. It's mostly guys, watching this, and the same thing to women. I mean, like, ladies, choose a man that chooses you also, right? But the last part to this is only then will he perceive you as an equal partner. There's no equality in relationships. That's a toxic feminist lie that's embedded here in the book. Okay, it's a standard narrative that we've seen pop up over and over again. Men and women are not equal. They're a complement to one another if you allow it to become a compliment. The problem is society has taken that narrative and flipped it upside down, and it doesn't exist that way anymore. And I just had a coaching call earlier this afternoon, a few hours ago. Dude was making about as much money as his wife, but guess when his wife pulled out the rug from underneath him? When she started making more money than him. Women see, a test of women's loyalty is when men are unsuccessful. A test of a man's loyalty is when the man is successful. So they're not looking for equality. They want to look up to a man. They want to be with a giant. They want to, have access to all of that stuff. But anyway, I'm almost done here, guys. In the private chat, just leave me a quick message and let me know what it is when you talk about, guys, so I can pull you in and just organize it. Every man wants to have sex first. Whether he wants a girlfriend is something he thinks about later. By not giving him what he wants up front, you become his girlfriend without him realizing it. Nope. Plugged in beta males might believe that. But the top shelf men, the alphas that she's pining for, And last one here is a note I have that she put in the book that says, sass is sexy. When guys talk to one another, they often tease and make fun of each other. You're going to see where this is leading in a second. Being able to banter and give a little sass give a little sass back shows him you can hold your own and won't take crap from him. Not only will it make you seem more self-confident, but it will show him that you can stand on your own 2 feet. Men want to date feminine beauties. They don't want to date bitches. Okay? We don't want to deal with sass. We don't want to deal with a hard life coming home with sass. Men bust each other's chops because that's what we do. One of the red flags I put in my book, in fact, and by the way, you can get that chapter for free. You don't even have to buy the book. I'll drop it there on the ticker. But one of the red flags, you'll just get on my email list. That's all. And I don't spam, guys. I'll only send out stuff if it's important. One of the red flags is if she competes with you, which ties into her busting your chops. A woman that competes with a man does not see him as her best sexual option, as her best hypergamous option. She only competes with a man if she doesn't see him that way and is shit testing. It's a competency test. So if a woman is getting all sassy with you and trying to bust your chops and behaving like a man, hey, dudes, sign up for it if you want. But I can tell you, you're not going to have as good an experience as a guy that gets involved with a feminine beauty. Nobody wants sass.